The Collectopedia, a fun little side quest in the first Xenoblade game, where you put all the different collectibles you've found across your adventure into a picture book in exchange for useful items for battle and overworld traversal. But one thing I've always been curious about is, what do these items look like? Maybe I'm alone in this, but either way, I thought it would be fun to try and visualise these collectibles by drawing them. So I used the crazy Wheel of Fortune to decide on a collectible from each category to draw. The most interesting of these will definitely be the strange category, but let's see what all the final results look like, starting with the veg category. So we have the Wheel of Fortune here, with all of the items from the first category listed down. So let's spin the wheel and see what we get. A tropical radish. They're cheering me. Wow. Found in Erith Sea in Colony 6. Reveals a tropical colour when you brush off the inky black clay. Interesting. Considered sweet. What's a tropical colour? I mean, I guess you would get tropical fruits, but in the shape of a radish. Right, that's the first one then. So for the first item, I started off by making a simple radish shape, ready to cover it in the black clay, with gaps where the colourful vegetable could shine through, with similar colours to a mango or dragon fruit. Ultimately I settled on a mix of pink and yellow, like a sunset. The leaves were mostly clean, with a bit of clay left over on it, like it had just been pulled out of the ground. The first collectible is the tropical radish. It was found in Erith Sea, so I definitely wanted something bright and colourful underneath all that clay. I wanted to have that contrast, and I think it ended up looking pretty cool. I definitely do want to work on my texturing for clay though. Now moving on to the fruit. A juicy melon. The juice inside them drips like water, so it's essentially just melon but juicier. So it could be something like kinda bursting with juice. That's a decent bit to go on, I guess. For the juicy melon, I pretty much wanted to just draw a melon, but with exaggerated juiciness, almost like it's bursting with water. So I had drips coming off, like it was sweating juice or something. The shading was key to make it look as wet as possible. Aside from that, it pretty much just looks like your basic melon. Not too much going on with this one. This collectible is found in both Sword Valley and Colony 6, but I think it fits more for Colony 6, so here it is. We move on to the flowers. A moonflower. What does it have to say? A large, round, lofty blue flower. All other blooms fade when it opens. So kind of a big circular flower, I guess, would be the general look for this. That makes sense. For the moonflower, I knew straight away the idea of what I wanted to draw. Based on the description, I wanted it to be big and round, with the centre of the flower looking like a big full moon, and the blue around it looking like the night sky. The shading then makes it look like the moon is lighting up the sky. Then I just put it in some grass like it's found on the ground of Colony 9. This one was definitely more inspiring, like something that stands out in the fictional landscape of the Bionis, but it still looks natural and realistic. So now we have animals, which is quite funny that you just pick up a bunch of animals and stick them in your bag, but I don't know the ways of the Xenoblade, so let's see what animal we'll get. A cable mouse. Choose through artillery cables, the bane of an engineer's life. So that's why they're called cable mice. So I guess it's like a kind of just a mouse, but maybe like a really devious looking mouse. Yeah, okay. For the cable mouse, I wanted something big and round, like a cute mouse, but looking devious and mischievous as it chews through a wire. So I gave it big black evil eyes and an evil grin the light reflecting on its eyes making it look even shiftier. You can absolutely imagine this thing ruining an engineer's life. Since this is found in the central factory, I like to imagine that they were a nuisance for the Machina way back when. Maybe they like to go down to the hidden village to continue to wreak havoc, or perhaps cross over Sword Valley to mess with the Homs. Now we move on to bugs. I think collecting bugs is a little bit normal than collecting literal animals, but who knows? Let's see what we get. Shield bug. After dreams of dancing in the sky, this species turned blue. So I guess going off the name shield bug, it's some kind of blue, well obviously yeah, blue, and then also possibly one that can fly. So some kind of like scarab beetle thing with a shield on its back, or like its wings make it look like a shield. Okay, I can work with this. So the shield bug is actually a real bug species, so I had a good reference to base the design off, but I knew I wanted to add a bit of creativity, so on top of it of course being blue based on the description, I wanted to add some Mechon-like patterns. Perhaps it's like Crabble that wear Mechon parts, or it evolved those to ward off predators. Couple that with the sky blue shell and it makes for quite a striking design. It also reflects the bright blue sky of Magna Forest where it can be found. So now we have nature, which is like branches and rocks and stuff. A dilemma rock. What does it say about the dilemma rock? A strange stone used for building. Looks hard, but it's actually soft. Oh. So a soft rock. Found in Erith Sea, so maybe something a bit more oceanic might make sense. Possibly something that's used on the buildings of Alchemoth might make sense. So it's something that looks hard but is soft. I think it would be easier to draw something that looks soft but is hard, but I'm sure I can figure this out. The dilemma rock was a tricky one. You could say it was a bit of a dilemma. Making a rock that looked hard but was actually quite soft was a challenge. I tried to make the rock look a little wavy and ever so slightly round. I thought it might be something that's used as part of construction in Alchemoth. I made it a light grey similar to the whites of the city, but in a more raw and unrefined form. This collectible is something I imagine being part of the crown surrounding Erith Sea. Perhaps bits and pieces are taken off to be used in parts of building, and other bits have fallen off over time. The softness could make it a bit like limestone or sandstone. It could possibly be used in making tables or ground tiles. So next we have parts, second to last category. Bit more mechanical, so it should be quite different to the other ones. Let's see what it is. A modern resistor. What does it say about the modern resistor? Now useless for memory storage. Might make a nice ornament though. So resistors are usually like kind of round things, but it says it's used for memory storage. So maybe like a USB type of thing? Not sure. But I will work it out. For the modern resistor, I had to get a bit more creative. Resistors are not typically used for memory storage, so I'm not really sure what they were going for. On top of this, it's apparently used as an ornament. I can only imagine this was a weirdly translated one, I'm not really sure. I decided to go with the shape of a resistor on top of a square motherboard type of thing. Perhaps it's got a big resistor-like thing that could be where the memory is stored. On old computers used by the ancient Hyentia perhaps, on Prison Island, or Giants. I made the board black with the blue light coming off of it, as that looks similar to the overall colour scheme of Prison Island. This was definitely a tough one, but I think I figured something out. Finally we have the strange category. This one I think should be the most interesting, just because they're kind of random. I mean, they're named by the characters, so there's some weird ones here, but there should be enough to go off with the description of them and the name of them, hopefully. Otherwise I'll have to get very creative. A death bangle. What does it say about the death bangle? I mean, it's a bangle. Ryan came up with this on the spot. It's made from viciously sharp fangs. So some kind of bangle that's made of fang. Probably big, like, wolf fangs or something like that. Okay, that is the final item to draw. Let's get to it. Finally, we have the death bangle. All we really know about this is that it's a bangle made of teeth. I started by making a simple round shape for a bangle that goes around the wrist, but the whole thing is lined with sharp teeth. Maybe they're made from wolf fangs, then dropped or placed in a specific area for religious or practical reasons. Since we know tribes like Turkins have a form of intelligence, perhaps they were made by them, or they could have been made by old humans from the other colonies. They can be found around the Bionis leg, so maybe Colony 6 had something to do with it. So, that's the end of the video. There were a lot of drawings done here, so it took quite a long time, although they were mostly quite simple. Let me know if you want to see more videos where I draw stuff by liking and subbing. Perhaps I can do a part 2, or draw stuff from the other Xenoblade games. Either way, I'll definitely be drawing more stuff since it's fun to do. Thanks for watching.